Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope that January has been going really strong for you guys. I hope you're still riding on the newness that a new year brings, that burst of energy. I hope you're making quality decisions. I hope your plans are working out. If your resolutions you've stopped, you should go back. Actually, it's okay to stop. It's okay to sleep sometimes, but the problem is when you give up. Okay, so enough with the motivational talk. Today I want to be talking about preparing for March 2025. So if you're someone who is planning to march in next year in 2025, that means you're going to be applying this year 2024 September. So you have about 9 months. And if you're wondering what you can be doing now, then this video is for you. I'll be talking from my own experience, what I know and what I experienced in my own application cycle, right? So first things first is, what specialty are you planning to apply? I would say this is the first thing, but then it might not be the first for you. But for the purpose of my video, let's just say that for me, I think that's like one of the initial things, one of the most important things, because you're applying, right? So you're going to have to figure out, what am I applying into? First, am I applying to one? Am I dual applying? Why am I dual applying? If I get my second specialty, am I going to be as happy? There are people that they don't mind doing this or doing that or doing the other. So either ways, it doesn't matter. If I'm applying to a very competitive specialty, is there a backup specialty that I want to just put just in case? Like, is it very important to me that I match than which specialty? You have to make all those decisions, right? So that's the first thing. And now different specialties value different things. Obviously, there are going to be the common ground like scores, experiences, research. All of those things are going to be like the ERA CV is the same regardless of specialty. However, there are some specialties that value scores more than others. Some specialties are big on experience. They want your experiences to show that you are committed to the specialty you're applying. Some specialties value research more than others. Some specialties value community involvement. Like, I don't want to call specialties, I don't want any stereotypes yet, because as I said, I'm not expert, but I can just picture a specialty in my mind that really value that they are involved in your community, because most of what they do is caring for that demographic. And then in your CV, there is nothing, so those kind of things. So you have to figure that out. So the next thing is ERA's experiences. So ERA's has 10 experiences. Nothing has come out. Like, we've not had any changes. So if it's going to be the same as the last application cycle, there are 10 experiences. So you actually have to think. Now, it's not compulsory that you fill all 10. As you would understand when you get into the process, advice is going to be super subjective. Many of the things we are here are going to be subjective, going to depend on the person, right? Because these residency programs are people, program directors are people. So those experiences, those personal views are going to influence a lot. So some people say it's okay, you don't have to, fill up your CV with things that are not quality just because you want to get to 10. Other people are saying that you're giving 10 opportunities to shine. Please make use of it and shine. So for me, I would say, if you can, please, why not? So how do you know what to put? I think that the best thing to do now is like there is a free and downloadable offline version of the ERA CV. You can download it and simulate, if I'm applying today, what can I put here? See, it doesn't even have to be super detailed. It might even be things that you have, plans that are still in the works. Just include them, and just doing that activity alone, that exercise alone, will tell you where there are gaps. So if you come to the research or the publication part and you see that, man, there's nothing. Now, I'm not saying that you can't match without research. I had a few publications that were not even super big deal, right? So I'm not saying that you're not going to match without. But then if you're looking at that and maybe you're feeling experiences, and I see that I just have 5. One, I'm going to determine, am I okay with 5? Now, step 1 is pass fail. Step 2 scores are over the roof. People getting super high scores. So people are now beginning to stand out in experiences. Programs are beginning to value experiences. Do you understand? So you have to check that. So try to just simulate that. Do it on the offline version and just see what kind of experiences do I have to include. So for me, for internal medicine, a few of the experiences I included the externship I'm doing right now in Nigeria, my virtual rotations, some work that I did in primary health center, just my community primary health center. I included my tutoring experience in medical school, because I know that medical education is something that I'm really passionate about, and it's something that is also valued in internal medicine, and it's actually something I really love. It's my CV. I wanted my CV to communicate what I like. So I even included my YouTube, and a few other things. So you have to Another thing you can also do is to reach out to your seniors, for people who are willing to share what they included in their CV, especially for the specialty that you're applying. And then maybe you can tailor your experiences so that, like, if you're wondering, what should I do? You can ask people who have applied and matched, and then they can share what they included that maybe they were asked about in their interview, something that was valuable, and you can do the same. Okay. The next thing, which I would say is very important, super important, would be to make a timeline. Now, ERAS is going to open in the last week of September. For last year, it was 27th. So it's going to be around that period. Now, when ERAS opens, do I want to apply with a complete application packet? Can I apply with a complete application packet? So it's always safer to apply with a complete packet because people get worried about filters. There are some programs that would filter you out based on your ECFM certification. Like if you don't have it yet, they will rather review people who have complete applications. Now, that's not to say that everybody who applies it complete. No, some people actually take the risk, and when their certification comes, they update this program. Some people even take step 2 after applying, right? So if that is your situation, it's okay. Like, don't remove yourself from the game because you're not super qualified or all qualified. But then if you can, it gives you peace of mind. It gives you that feeling that you've done the most you can, and then you're not worrying about the things you can't control, right? So if you're planning to apply with a complete application packet, that means that at least by August, your exams should be done, your OET should be done, so that your pathway, everything gets approved by September in order for you to apply. If, for example, you're still planning to do US clinical experience and you've not gotten any, that means in these next 8 months, actually, that's something you're going to be looking out for. If you look at your research portfolio, for example, and you see that your research portfolio is not as good as you want it to be, and then there are things that you want to include, you want more publications, you want to present posters, maybe there's a conference, there's a case you saw at the hospital, something interesting, you would like to publish a case report. The easiest forms of research, then you know that you have the next 8 months to work on something. And when it comes to research, it actually doesn't even have to be published by the time. It's okay to include things you're working on, obviously, like not things that you've never started, and things like that. So what I'm saying in general is having that kind of timeline would help you. Also, your exams, when are you going to be done? If you want to be certified by September, when is the last day that you should take step 2? Also, taking into account the number of weeks it takes for results to come out. Do you want to take step 3 before, or is it okay to take step 3 when you've submitted already? Are you particular about what kind of visa you get? Do you want a H1B, then you need step 3? All those kind of timelines. So that's like very, very important. Then the other thing I want to talk about is networking. Networking has been, it's become so important in the last maybe 1, 2, 3 March cycles. And I don't know, maybe it's biased because I'm in this March cycle, but I think that I've heard it so much. And then everybody thinks, how do I make connections? How do I make connections? I also know that I had that kind of issue coming in. I felt like I didn't have connections. And yes, connections do help, but they're not everything. However, it helps, right? So connections can be gotten in different ways. I did not actively seek out connections. I tried once or twice, but I will explain. So what I'm just trying to say is, if you're in the US, for example, you want to get your US clinical experience. When you're there or you have the opportunity, then you have to show up and show out very well, so that the people who you meet will enjoy working with you. And if they want to give you a recommendation, it won't be grievous for them to do that because they actually want you. If you have a choice of where you want to do USCE, not everybody has that choice, and you can do it in a program or in a place where the program director can see you. You can show off or audition yourself. That's a form of connection. If you have opportunities to present cases or present something at a conference, and you can actually walk up to people, meet people, where you can email them after, put your picture, ask them something, just that's actually what connections mean. And not every connection would lead to an interview or anything. It might just be help, right? And I personally do not like the idea of meeting people just because you want to get things from them. It's dicey. I know that, yes, in the professional world, connections, network, it's very important. But then also, the more as you're trying to connect with people, please don't just only have that mentality of take, and and all the people in your circle, all the people that you're connected with, is just because you're hoping that they do something for you. Why maybe networking it's everything, or it's so important for careers and all? I don't think it's everything. And for me, I would say that I remember reaching out to a resident on Twitter, and he was so helpful, right? And then I remember emailing some of my alumni, and they were also really helpful. So that's also one way to make connections, without trying to, get people that would stick their head out for you. And something else you can also do to make connections, at least from the one that does not hurt anybody, even if you're not in the US, you can attend conferences, would be to follow your seniors' journeys. So you have seniors who are applying, even if you're not ready, you might not even have started step one. Follow them, genuinely, like follow them, follow their journey, encourage them, hype them, comment, try to build a relationship with them. When they match, take note of where they're going to. If they're willing to share with you, ask them. And so that when the time comes for you to apply, then you can know the places that have a history of taking people from your school. And that would help you to even narrow what programs that you're going to apply to. So enough of connections and networking, because genuinely they're not everything. So the last one I want to talk about, and will be one of, I keep saying the most important, but the one that I feel like helped me so much would be journaling. Yes, I admit that in the past year I didn't journal as much as I wanted to, but yeah, I'm a journal girly, and normally I would keep things down, how I'm feeling on this day, just the things that matter to me. And I remember coming into the era season cycle, and I now realized that I had to reflect so much, because you have to write a personal statement, and suddenly they're expecting you to write about your life. They're expecting you to write something that is touching and moving and emotional, and you actually have to pour out your heart. And if you're not someone who is like you make a habit of reflecting or taking down things, you can even have things that are worthy of being included in a CV or in a personal statement, or even in your LORs that your writers are writing for you, but because you don't even remember that you've done something like this, you can't, you miss out on that. And then sometimes, because eras is now moving more towards experiences, the quality of experiences, you're actually going to have to say the things that you learned or the things that you did in the context of the things you're including, or how they mattered to you. And if it was something I did last year and you've just upped and moved and you don't even remember, there is nowhere, I think that journals are receipts of your life. That's the way I look at it. So if you can, just keep putting things down. When the time comes for you to fill up your era CV or write your personal statements, those things would come together and help you. Something else I don't want to forget would be to plan your funds, plan your finances. I know that this is not something that everybody has the luxury of planning months before and stuff. Some people are still working, trying to get the money. But if you can, at least just have the awareness that this is going to cost you money. So you're going to pay for ECFMG certification. You might have even paid that maybe. But for the match itself, you're going to buy an ERAS token. It's cost, I think, 160 to 180, something around that range, but it's not up to 200. And then you're going to paying for that ERAS token is going to give you access to log into my ERAS, where you can put your details and, the whole, your CV, everything, just give you access to my ERAS. Okay. And then you're going to apply for these programs. 10 programs will cost you $99. 30 programs will cost you anything like $519. 80 programs will cost you about $1,900, $1,950. So let's just say $2,000. And 180 programs, I believe, would cost you up to $2,500. I'm just giving estimates. So maybe you should have this in mind. That would inform how you deal with your finances, how to save, source the money and stuff. So yeah. So just to recap everything I've said, the first thing would be, what's the first thing? Okay, let's start from the back. Journal. Keep connections with your seniors, follow their journeys. When you're in a place, really show up, put your best foot forward, work hard, and people will actually genuinely want to help you and want to work with you, especially if you're doing clinical rotations or you're doing research. The other one would be try to make a timeline for your own self, your own timeline, and also be cognizant of the important days. When is ERAS going to open? When will they start to sell token? When can I start to fill my application online? When do the pathways open? When is the last day for this? When is the last day for that? Try to take note of all of that and make a timeline for your own self. For example, by June, I should have started my personal statement. By July, I should have a first draft. In August, I should have reviewed, edited, that kind of thing. And the other thing would be to try to begin to think about what kind of experiences that you are going to put, so that if there is something that you need to work on, you can work on it. And the other thing is identify what specialty you're going to be applying to. So I hope that this video was valuable for you. If it was, please send me a message or comment. I really, really love to hear from you guys, and I would make sure to respond to every comment. And I hope that for myself, I hope that I match, and I hope that everything really works out for you. Okay. All right. Bye.